Welcome to Beyond the Swipe, the stories, systems, and people powering modern commerce. Every business has a story beyond every swipe. This is Beyond the Swipe, brought to you by Bay State Merchant Services, where we uncover what it really takes to run, grow, and sustain a thriving business in today's world. My name is Katherine Perkins. I am Vice President of Bay State Merchant Services, and I am here today with CEO John Perkins.
It was great having Joe here, but I want to talk a little bit about your introduction into the credit card business. And I'm going to start it off because I can remember I was in my office. Now, just for everybody to understand, you were you're my daughter, and you were very, very young when I started Bay State Merchant Services.
Yeah.
And I started that business from someone just telling me about a business. I thought it was intriguing, and I decided that I would give it a try. And it's almost 30 years now since I originally got into the program. But when you were a little girl, tell them a little bit about how hard I worked. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's funny. Now being 34 and being in the business for 8 years, if you had asked me when I was going into college if I was going to be joining my father in merchant services, I would have said no. I would have told you that I was going to be a forensic investigator for a department somewhere.
That's right. That's what you wanted
that
to
was
be.
what my heart was set on. But in the background, now that I reflect back on how I got to where I am today, I think about all the times I can remember my father coming home, dinner time, going out early in the morning. He'd get home around dinner time and he'd run into his office and have to complete a merchant application quick and get down to the FedEx or the UPS box to drop it before the pickup. And that's a core memory I have over and over and over again. I can remember him just getting up every morning. You'd get out and you'd come home for dinner, but that was your routine.
Yeah. That was it. When I started in the business, it wasn't what it is today. And one of the reasons we started to do podcasts is we want to get the information out that it has evolved into really a way for you to run your business and support your business with all the different things that we can do. Back in the day when I first got started, it was a knuckle buster. Now some of the people going to watch this, they don't even know what a knuckle buster is, but it was a little machine where someone would come in with their credit card, we'd put it in it, we'd put a piece of paper over it, we'd go like this, and then we'd swipe the card and in a little box, and it would be accepted. Now, before electronic processing started, all they did is just take the slip, take them down to the bank, and deposit them. So it's come a long way. But one of the most exciting things that I think has happened over the last, I'm going to say 10 years, and it really started with restaurants, was the software being integrated with the credit card system. So now when we're out and we're talking to people, we're finding out what their needs are to make their business run a little smoother, and it really is evolving. It's evolved. In fact, you know more about some of the things that are being done than I even do, because I'm kind of stuck into the office and I'm in the back end of the business now. I'm not out seeing merchants so much. But one of the things I wanted to get into, and maybe you can give me your perspective on it, is that a lot of people don't realize that the opportunity in the credit card business for someone who wants to work hard and build a future is unlimited. You can do pretty much anything that you want in the business, but it's not the easiest business in the world to get started. As a matter of fact, J.D. Power, who's does all kinds of things, looks into things and gets statistics on it, came out not that long ago with people that look at the credit card business and say, wow, this would be great, a residual income. And we'll talk about that as we go along. I'd like to have you talk about that. But, 90% of the people that say I like this business, I'd like to get involved in this business, 90% of the people quit before they ever get to their third merchant being signed up to work with them, which I think is absolutely terrible, to walk away from something that can really, really, really change your life and give you freedoms you never even thought of, and friends that you can get. I know that some of my early merchants that we still have, that we've done merchant spotlights on, that been with us way over 20 years, and they're really good friends of mine, and we've watched their businesses grow as our business has grown. But but because people sometimes will drop out before they should, is something that maybe you tell us about your early days. Because let me say this first. Got to understand, Catherine walked into my office, and she had a little baby and a baby thing. And, here's the baby. And she walked in, she says, I was talking to, and it was one of my accounts, and they asked me today why you never asked me to go to work for you. And I can remember spinning around in my chair saying, well, he might have talked to you, but that's not how he said it. And she kind of laughed a little bit. She goes, no, that's right. He wondered why I didn't ever ask you if I can go to work for you. So you take it from there.
Yeah, so a couple things I think that you can speak to, and you did a little bit, about how much change has occurred in the last, say, call it 30 years in the business, right? From knuckle busters to now. In the middle there, your approach with a business would have been, I can save you X, I can save you money. That was our pitch. Even when I first got in the business 8 years ago, that was kind of the pitch that we would run with. And now, 2025, we're not even leading with that. We're leading with products and software and solutions to help streamline businesses, because we're all out here and we're all claiming we can save you money. So now our focus at Bay State Merchant Services is really finding those niche solutions for the different types of businesses and focusing the sale there, right? We lead with the solution. How can we help to make your business run smoother, or whatever their particular problem is? How can we help to fix that? And I think speaking on from the agent perspective, as far as agents getting into the business and leaving prematurely, it's, to what I believe, my perspective is that they still have the old school frame of thought around sales, and that a no is a no. And being in the business for 8 years and where I stand now at 34, early in my sales career, is that a no is just the merchant's asking for clarity. And that goes across any type of sales position. If I hear a no, it sounds like they're looking for clarity to understand how exactly am I going to help them. They need more information. A no isn't no, go away. I mean, it could be sometimes. But a lot of times when they're saying no, or no, I don't think so, or I got to think about that, a lot of people in sales hear that and they don't follow up. And I think what's really important is that when you're hearing that, it's an opportunity for you to ask clarifying questions.
Absolutely. A no, N-O, and I learned this years ago. In my mind, when someone said no, N-O, I said to myself, K-N-O-W. The problem is the no is there because he doesn't K-N-O-W what I can do.
Exactly. Yeah, no, exactly. And I think as sales agents, you need to be able to not only tell them how you're going to provide a better solution or how you're going to fix their problem, but we need to start painting the picture of what life will look like after we do that, right? So there definitely has been a evolution of not only the merchant services products, but also how we sell them. Because as you know, our market is really saturated with a lot of agents that don't exactly understand the business and don't exactly understand the sales process. And so I think if you can distinguish yourself in a very saturated industry with some of these kind of sales principles that I'm talking about, I think that you can find that you'll be more successful and there will be less burnout because, like you said, residual income is really quite a gift if you can hang in there.
It's the greatest gift that you can get. Now, I want to just cover the saturation thing because the numbers, it is saturated. 82% of all businesses in the United States take credit cards. There are 33 million businesses in the United States. 82% take them. But that doesn't mean they take them and everything's fine, because the turnover in the credit card business is over 30% every year. So if you look at it mathematically, if someone's coming into this business brand new, are they going to talk to people that haven't heard about credit card processing? Absolutely not. If they're a brand new business, they've already looked into it. They're looking into it. But the question I want to see what you think, or what you would say, is that why, and that's what we're trying to eliminate, why would 30% of all merchants leave their present processor? I know the reasons why, but we want to tell everybody, we want to share it with everybody else. Why would they leave their present processor? Because, you swipe a card, you get the money the next day. What's the problem? So what do you, tell me what you see out in the field.
Yeah, I think that, right, the obvious answer would be they start looking for another provider because they feel like they're paying too much. But here's the real reason, is it's service. Because if I provide a level of service and a relationship with my customers where they may at one point feel like they're paying too much, or they may feel like their terminal isn't the solution they need, or they feel as though their business has grown, if that relationship is there, they're picking up the phone and calling me, and I'm evolving with them.
Sure.
I think that the relationship side of the business is lacking, and a lot of these merchants are just another number dropped into the pipeline, and then they're signed up, they're processing, and we're on to the next one. And so I think that if you can focus on the relationship, that's where the retention is.
Absolutely. And I want to make it very clear. I had a business with a lot of partners in it, a lot of reps. When you decided that you wanted to give it a try, and I said, let's see what you can do. I got to tell the audience that, and I wish I had some of the other fellows here to talk about, I was about as tough as anyone could be on somebody, because it was very hard for me to bring you into the business, because I've had people like Tommy, who'd been with me for 10 years, Jody, had been with me for 15 or 16 years, and all of a sudden the brat's coming in, and what's going to happen to this deal? So I got to admit it, that I was so tough on you that you should have quit. But for some reason, you stuck with it. I think one of the reasons why myself that people leave their present processor is not only just what you said, but they didn't get off to a good start anyway. So I've been an advocate, although no one seems to want to do it at this point. Most people are brought into this business helter-skelter. They just are brought in, and they say, write down your friends, relatives, and neighbors that own a business and go out and tell them that you are now in the merchant service industry. Is there anything that you would do with such little information in your life if it was important to you? Nothing. So what happens, the reason those people go out and they talk to 2 or 3 people and they say, I'm all set, and then they might sell 1 or 2 deals, but 90% of them are leaving before they even found out what's what's working. So there are a lot of people that are ISOs like myself, and they, if you can fog a mirror, come on in, you can do well with this. And I really don't think that they've got the support to even be successful. And that's why one of the things we do is we don't hire a lot of people.
No.
We bring people into this business after they get a very, very good idea of exactly what to expect for their first few months of getting starting and learning. Well, the first thing they got to do is they got to go through our training program. Once they go through a training program, they won't just walk up to a friend that owns the barber shop and say, "Hey, I'm in the credit card business now." They'll learn without us covering all that today. We will cover it on podcasts as we go forward. But you can eliminate the attrition rate of reps out there through education, and then that rolls into eliminating merchants being frustrated and going on to somebody else. So here comes the moment where I got to brag a little bit. I got an award many, many years ago from one of the largest networks at having the lowest attrition in the United States. And I was asked a number of times, what do you attribute to that? And I would say, knowledge and service. If the merchant understands the industry and understands how to why we're here to help them, and then they're going to stay with you. They're only going to leave if something happens that they don't think is fair, or, as I've mentioned many times, they hear those 5 words that merchants don't want to hear. And those 5 words, first of all, a merchant, they don't fall in love with their rep, but we're a service provider to them. So when they have a situation that might come up, they'd like to talk to us for us to help them take care of the situation. Well, they'll call up and they'll hear the 5 little words. And not just in our industry, but in a lot of industries. Due to high call volume. Yeah, nobody wants to hear due to high call volume. Can you imagine you just had an accident at the house, you've got to call the fire department, and they got to come and help you, and you hear, when you call the fire department, due to high call volume, don't want to hear it. And so we've tried to eliminate that in our business, and that's why all of the reps for Bay State, they on their business card, they got their 24-hour cell phone for their merchant to call them immediately, and they will get to them. Well, they got to sleep too. So what we decided to do fairly recently is we have an AI receptionist now. Our phone, our 800 number, is answered on the first ring. Talks to the agent. Most of the people think it's a real person. It's AI, and if you're in the business and if you're not using AI, look into it. It's worth getting into it. And then within 15 seconds of the termination of the conversation, that bulletin is sent to me or the rep, so we can get in touch with them right away. It's making everybody happy. I think now almost every week when we get that call and we make that call, the merchant's saying, "Oh, geez, I didn't think I'd hear from you this fast." But that's what they like. And so you do a good job for people. They tell good stories about you, and it works out real well. What do you run into that are obstacles that we can still work on and make better?
Yeah, I think the biggest obstacle, and you and I have talked about this a lot recently, right now in our industry is facing these proprietary software situations. So, I go to a hair salon and they love their POS software, but their rates are really expensive. In the past, that wasn't a huge obstacle because we could integrate with most software. Software companies have gotten smarter at the revenue that is created from the processing side. And so a lot of these software companies are now closing out and providing it, from within and not allowing processors like ourselves to integrate. And so that's got to be the biggest obstacle at this point in time that we're facing.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why we work with developers almost every vertical that's out there now. As a matter of fact, I was looking at all the different verticals, and there's verticals pretty much now for every industry, and we've worked really hard over the last 2 to 3 years developing relationships with the different ones. But there's still going to be the people that develop that are still going to get into our business, and there's a problem with that. And the problem with that is when you go with a bundled processor. I know it's convenient. You're using their software. You get probably your POS system from them, and they're going to do the credit card processing for you as well. Well, the underlining problem with that is they got you captured. They have you captured under a contract. They got you captured under your processing, and they won't allow another processor to come in. So you have eliminated the opportunity to negotiate your rates. And when that happens, you just did one this summer, and I think it's very interesting. Down in Provincetown, that you did a merchant down there, and you did bring him on board with us, but it was kind of easy for you, wasn't it? Tell us why.
It was easy in what regard?
The rates.
Oh, yes. Okay, so when I acquired that merchant, it's a hotel, so he works with a reservation software, one that we were still able to integrate using a gateway NMI. But when I did his analysis, he was basically 4% over interchange. So the credit card companies, right, Visa, MasterCard, Amex, and Discover, they all assess these interchange rates to merchants who accept their cards. And then the second part of any pricing structure is the processor comes in and we apply a discount rate. And that discount rate is how we get paid for the service of providing the merchant to accept credit cards. And so he was interchange plus 4%. And to put that into perspective, can't really, on average, we're talking fractions of a percent is what we're going in over interchange. So is that what you're talking about?
Right. So the overall cost for him was almost 7%.
Yeah, I was saving him thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. I mean, I'm his best friend now.
Yeah, well, you'd be my best friend. You'd be my best friend too.
But you know what? And let me just say this too. And it's situations like that, though, great for Bay State because we were able to come in and look like the hero, but not great for the industry altogether because that merchant now feels like, because he got completely screwed over for years. And so it's that perspective that's going around and talking about how, the merchant services industry, we're crooks and we're not honest. And there are people and there are professionals in the industry who have integrity and are extremely honest. And it's finding the right provider. But unfortunately, those situations do happen and they hurt the overall reputation.
Right, and that's one of the reasons why I started this, and then I came away from it. But I've been an advocate for not only educating, which we talked about just a few minutes ago, but I would love to see the industry. Well, I'm going to get bad mail on this, but I would love to see the industry just like the real estate industry. I grew up my dad was in the real estate business. And he got into the real estate business after he worked in the Second World War as a welder building ships for World War II. So he said, I want to get into real estate. So he went down and got a nice sign made up, and he put it on a big old maple tree out by the road. And it said, John Perkins, real estate agent. And he actually did that till the day he died. And he learned the business through mistakes. Most of us learn through our mistakes. We don't learn through the things that work well because now we already know it. It's the mistakes we make. So, but new merchant, so the real estate business evolved into, yes, you got to get an education. Yes, you got to pass a test. And then, yes, you got to have a license. And I really really think someday that is going to happen in the merchant service industry, because people are going to get tired of having people come in and tell them something that they don't mean to lie necessarily, but the idea is they misrepresent really what the process is for doing the business. So to get back on bundling, bundling is very convenient. But I always, if I talk to a merchant, I always say, listen, if you separate. As a matter of fact, one of my oldest customers, which is 3 liquor stores on Cape Cod here, when I originally met him, I was pretty green in the business. Been with me almost my whole career, so they will stay with you. But he always separated his software for his liquor stores from his processing. And let me tell you something, he was one of the best at beating me down. So, to hardly no income. So I look, he's been with me 25 plus years, so I've made a couple bucks. But let me tell you something, it wasn't easy. I would suggest, no matter who you work with, is to at least look at it. The final decision may be you want to go in the other way and have one place take care of everything, but you ought to look at ought to shop around a little bit.
Brought to you by Bay State Merchant Services. We uncover what it really takes to run, grow, and sustain a thriving business in today's world.